One comment on the discussion yesterday about academic versus practice. I jotted it down here, so I can't read it out. In theory and practice it's the same, but in practice it isn't. So I'm leaning towards much more that what we do stems from a practice-based point of view, and I think that needs to be the essence of what is being taught. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. I have several topics, and some will probably be running pretty fast because I know there's a timing issue. All right, let me start with what I am. I love music, and I love what it does to me. That's what the foreground of what I do. And I started out playing music. I played death metal guitar, and then I moved to piano, and then I moved into live sound because I figured out I was much better at putting up microphones and helping others perform. Then I moved into the studio, and then I moved on to producing music. And I'm also working as a consultant, and now I made it to associate professor. So all of this is what I do today. I do all 6 areas in my daily life. And I try to frame it as I try to distill energy and evoke emotions, and try to evoke the people in front of me, on stage or in the studio, in front of the microphone. So that's what I do. My role at the Roskilde Festival is audio consultant. I've been with them since 2001 because I had no affiliation with any company, and I could speak freely like that. Now I'm project manager of Roskilde Festival Sound. The background of Roskilde Festival, this is a picture from 1971, the first year the festival took place. And the story is that there were 2 high school people putting together this event. They had to store all the money they made somewhere, so they had a friend with a huge Mercedes-Benz. And they stored all the money, all the proceeds from that, and their friend took off to Germany. So somehow it changed, and they put up together an idea of making it into a charity. So I'll come back to that in a second. But the first festival was 2 days, 1 stage, 20 bands, 10,000 people. A huge success all of a sudden. So now, this is last year, 8 days, 8 stages, and so on. So the festival for this summer is sold out. We sold 80,000 tickets, and it's created by 30,000 volunteers. So the setup of the festival is that there's 65 employed year-round about it, but the people who's doing the festival, who's making the festival come alive, is 30,000 volunteers. And this is what it looks like before the festival. And it turns into the 4th largest city in Denmark, with 130,000 people. Just for scale or proportionality, Denmark is 5.2 million people. So, I mean, we're not 657, or how many are you in South Africa? In that area. And it's built by volunteers. You see these orange vests everywhere you go at the festival. They also take charge of the security. We have some security, but the security people are actually volunteers, which kind of limits the behavior of the audience, because to become a volunteer you work 32 hours during the week of the festival, so 4 times 8 hours, and then you obtain a ticket to the festival as well. So we're creating the festival together. And the purpose, it's a non-profit. We support social and cultural charities, particularly benefiting children and young people. And sorry, I'm just going to go back to this poster. You see the poster on the right side? 5 years ago they made another poster that looks like this, and it's not bands, but it's who received the surplus money. Because it's a non-profit, they hand out all the surplus money every year. And since 1971 it's generated more than 30 million euros to hand out to charities, handicapped people's, whatever, I can't even, Doctors Sans Frontiers, everywhere in the world they donate people. So that's in the DNA of the festival, to give away what we create together, basically. The strategic ambition is we create communities that are open and engaged, moving people through music, art, sustainability, and active participation. So that's a framework of Roskilde Festival. Let me talk about the audio production in previous years, which would probably be kind of similar to any other country. We had some local Danish PA companies. They would be having equipment and engineers, and we would negotiate the contracts for 2-3 years at a time. The focus on that was the supplier's reputation and their experience. So we gained experience through the years. We were pretty much in line with what we did and what they were able to do. So we did something really drastically 2 years ago, actually. In 2009, I write a letter of recommendation or a report on the festival saying maybe you should figure out to put some delay speakers over here. We did something really drastic to see, okay, why don't we find a manufacturer of a product to partner up with? So instead of just having the local PA company partner up with the manufacturer and then get access to new stuff. The new paradigm looks like this. We would really like to get what we need, what it would be optimal for each stage, instead of just what was on the shelves at the PA company. So that was one idea. The other idea behind this is try to develop the festival. Instead of just buying a service somewhere, try to engage and try to develop what we do together. So the objective would then be to find a partner with shared values, high degree of technological knowledge and stuff. So I was approached 5 years ago and said, we found this partner, what do you think about it? So we ended up making a partnership with Meyer Sound from California. They manufacture speakers, but the core thing here is that the company is owned by John and Helen, 2 hippies. The festival started in '71 by hippies, so they have shared values around creating stuff together. And yeah, you get the picture. So the framework is what Roskilde Festival provides to do this, and we get our knowledge about what we do, and they design the systems that we have for us. Of course, we are in talks with them. Then the equipment is coming from Sweden, from a local supplier called Bright Group, which then sub-hires the gear that they came in from Denmark. So we're not cutting off the Danish companies, we're just partnering up with the technological partner and getting the gear from elsewhere. And then, of course, the main focus, both on Roskilde Festival but also for Meyer Sound, must be to educate our staff. So every year we recruit our own engineers to handle every stage. So we have 8 stages. We have a team of 4 engineers manning the console, so we have 32 people that we educate. I'm going back tomorrow, and on Monday I'm going to be teaching these people together with an actor and a psychologist, and we're going to do it on a farm where we create food together as well. So we're branching out, but let me get back to how we're going to do that. And it's funny that I saw this poster right here. What makes the difference? Well, I already wrote it. The people, because we can have all the technological gear, but if we don't know what we want to achieve with it, it doesn't really matter in any way. All right, so this entails a lot of consequences for us, a lot of bad press, basically, because, hey, why can't I do the festival no more? So the consequence for Roskilde Festival, or the payouts, we get quality assurance of the PA systems because Meyer Sound has a high degree of technological knowledge. They measure, but they don't guess. We get access to development of the Roskilde Festival. We develop ourselves through developing others. So the festival needs to be in motion. And we get access to research. We provide the framework for research. More on this in a second as well. For Meyer Sound, they get access to research. They get knowledge about how their PA systems work. We have 8 stages. The largest one is for 50,000 capacity. The smallest one is 1,500. So they have this speaker and they have this speaker present everywhere to demonstrate, but also to learn more about what they do. Of course, they get PR. That's what they do. So the consequences for the sound engineers, which is my biggest center focus, is the fees and the working hours. With the partnership, we were able to reduce the working hours. So nobody works more than 10 to 12 hours. We upped the fee, so it's really high up according to Danish standards. And we also put in inflation numbers, so every year the people rise to the economy as well. The working conditions, I believe that if you work less hours, you integrate more with the others. You have more surplus energy to interact, basically. And from the teaching and the evaluation part that we did after the year one, it was year one last year, we actually experienced that they said, oh, I like my life better now. And maybe that's because of some of the teachings, but there's a video I can show you. Unfortunately, I don't have any audio, but just to give you an idea of what the training system look like. I have some audio up here. Second part, and it's me talking. If you didn't notice, sorry. So we try to develop the skills and knowledge not based only on the technological side, but we're trying to encompass a holistic approach as Nii also talked about yesterday. All right, so future consequences, I don't know what we're going to do. I know the plan with my son is that it's running for 5 years, and from what it looks, from what we learned year one, we're just going to move further. So that was one part, developing our own crew and partnering up with a technological partner. The other derived thing we can use from this is research and development. Roskilde Festival has always been involved with the Danish Technical University in examining stuff. For example, with 130,000 people on the premises, yes, we Vikings, we drink a lot of beer. Yes, you can measure the amount of phosphorus in the ground from the urine people produce at the festival. We know a lot of stuff about all that stuff. So now we're looking at, this year we're looking into noise pollution. How can we measure, how can we learn more about the spill among stages and also to neighboring areas? We are creating a small scale model called sonic crystals. Sonic crystals is a pattern of objects. So if I had a lot of these water bottles, they create sonic crystals. The differences in dimensions between the objects would create phase cancellations, which would then maybe enable us to lower the volume at certain frequencies. And that also comes from one of this video that So last year we did weather measurements in front of the stage. So we had eight microphones in the delay tower, because what we always felt was that in front of the stage, when the sun goes down, the humidity goes up, and people stand close to each other and it's been really warm every day, it creates a heat column. So the HF, the high frequencies, bounce off of the crowd, and we were able to detect that with that. So now we know what's going on, basically, crowd density and all that stuff. And one of the former payouts and the reason for doing this for us was this system. I don't know if you know that, but I got on board trying to be involved in measuring how loud sound is. And I have a friend named Jakob who created this final project at university, which has now become the standard in many countries, called 10 Easy. They measure sound over time, because like when you drive a car, it's important to know how fast you're going over time, and not just, oh, I'm going 100, whatever. So kilometers per hour, that's important. So this is a tool that we use the festival ground to integrate with. All right, so how do we develop and change the mindset of those involved? I believe that we have the abilities, but we also need to be able to choose what we want. And I think that comes from figuring out who you are. So knowledge and activities that develop the mindset. We talked about the technological mindset, knowledge that the mindset provides. We provide the artistic process. So we have a setting with 130,000 people where the engineers, sound, light, stage, everybody is part of the process, which then means it's a social process. So that's the way to think about it. What we teach in the technological knowledge is these parameters: physics and acoustics, psychoacoustics, psychophysics, and all that stuff. On the artistic side, we talk and teach about what art is, and when is art great, and what does it mean to work artistically. And I must say, I've butted my head with a lot of people about this, but let me just try it out. Who gets to be the artist? The bass player, the lead singer, the live sound engineer? I mean, if I work with an artist, I use myself, I use my emotions, I don't use my mind. I try to be involved in the music, so it's just an open discussion about who gets to be the artist. And through the social process, it's extremely important to be clear about your roles. What is the job function? So we teach conflict resolution, we teach building and gaining trust. That's what we're going to do on the farm, making food together, enacting plays, and establishing the team itself. So basically, on the top of it, the educational approach is that the knowledge is what do we know? The skills, what are we able to do? And finally, and most importantly, the competencies. What is the right thing to do right now? So that's what our thought patterns are hovering about. And I must say, I've been traveling a lot in the whole world, and one of the reasons I believe that we can do this is because in Denmark we have a really low degree of hierarchy. I can tell my boss at the conservatory where I work, oh, Henrik, I think you're doing it wrong. I think we should do it in a different way. And I'm pretty sure it's not really that in most other countries. So we create an open, equal environment for us to be able to debate this stuff. You can also say that it's an open, contributing approach where everybody owns the product of what we do.